Tēnā koutou ngā manu taiko te reo. No mātou ke te honore ki haramai. Nō re tēnā koutou. Ngā kai whakahaere tauni. Tēnā koe ruakere. Ko Roger Lewis tōku ingoa. Hei no, ke moheo whānau mai au i mga kino no Waira kotira na ingarangi Norway wiwi o ki tūpuna ka heki mai ki konei. Te puake au i horo whenua. Ngāti Pākehā e tūnei. E te taima wanganui mātou i te nā whanaunga ke Pākehā tūturu. 100% Pākehā right here. Hei nā taku whānau, kei te pīningi koe ki te... ko Winnie taku wahine, no Ngāti Raukawa, Ngāti Maniapoto, Waikato, nō reira me ki no Tainui. Taku pēpea piri. Haramai mātou i te mea prei ane, i te poe tūkohu ki AUT te tahiahi nei, ki North Harbour, nō reira i aho whakarite wanganui māua ko tauni ka haramai au ki konei, mutu ake ko haere ki te tiru haere i Taumaki, ka hatai ka haere atu ki te prei poe tūkohu. Tā mātou tama no haina, Waimarie mātou i haramai ia, ko tōna ingoa ko Sue Boyu, arā ko Boyu tōna ingoa tuatahi. Tana rā tuatahi taimai ki Aotearoa, haramai te tehi Māori ki ai me te Hei! Yao Ming! Nō re kia mohe hara tēnei te rai Yao Ming, engari tama tino pai, Waimarie mātou. No hoi no, tēnā koutou katoa. Right. We've got some things to do, and I don't know if we're going to finish everything by 11 o'clock, and you're going to be working today, and I was just listening to what some of the stuff Charisma's doing. It's like fantastic. I've actually never done that with my whānau, do a stock take, so hopefully you know exactly where you are, right, where your family is. I think what I'm going to do is going to complement that really well. My wife and I have been doing Kainga Kōrerorero. Have you heard of Kainga Kōrerorero? For, 7 years. I've probably been 5, and funnily enough, Ruakere has been our trainer. So it's always good to get that out at the beginning, you know, any mistakes. Nōna ke te And I've also been involved in other things. So you would have heard Whakamara Marae. We did a Marae language planning process with Whakamara Marae. We made lots of mistakes, so you know we learnt lots. And when I came to the last Kura Whakarawora, I talked a little bit about that. But today I'm going to do something that I do with my whānau. I have 10 whānau who range from whānau who are completely, who are all competent in speaking Māori. With the kids, they go to the kohanga or the kura, and the parents, they both speak. Right through to, we have one person who's reasonably okay. They might have done Māori at high school, and so we can sort of have a conversation, but everyone else doesn't know anything. So that's sort of the range of the whānau I have. So I've prepared what we're going to do, thinking about that second group of whānau, who in particular, so if you're not one of those whānau, it'll still hit you, but in particular I was thinking about those whānau who have very little reo, and none of their cousins have any reo, and all their close whānau. So, you know, if you've just done your stock take and you think, oh, that's us, hopefully this is going to be really helpful for you, but I think it'll be helpful for everybody. In your booklets, you have some of this information. You'll have a page that looks like this. That's at the top, our whānau reo vision for 2046, 30 years' time. And what I'm wanting is for every, well, if you're a couple, maybe you can do this together, but for every whānau to do this individually, but there'll be lots of times when you come back to those groups, maybe the groups you've just had with Charisma, and just to share what we've done. Actually, oh no, that's cool. Okay, so has everyone got those papers? Yep. I've actually got my notes in there too. So what I'm wanting to do, I'm going to take you through this process. This is a process that you can do with your own whānau. As one of the, yeah. Oh, so who doesn't have a paper of these? Oh, okay, so where's Tony? We'll just, if Shane can organise, yeah. Yeah. So one of the things that this is predicated on is that it actually takes a long time to change your whole whānau from being where you are to where you want to be. And so we've got to think quite a few years ahead. And this is one of the great things of thinking intergenerationally. We're actually starting with where our mokopuna are going to be. So, so what I want you to, and the other thing too is that if you don't like writing on little bits of paper, but you like writing on big bits of paper, because you can do this anywhere, you don't have to sit in your seats where you are. You can. We've got some big bits of paper down there by Shane, and I'm going to ask him if he can bring some up if you want it. And you can draw this, or you can write this down. But so the first question we've got to get out, and this is our most important question, is to our whānau Reo Vision 2046. So what I want you to do is think about 2046, so it's 30 years' time. So firstly, how old are you going to be in 30 years' time? Say it out loud to your friend. Right? So 21 and 30, that's like... so I'm 40-something, 48, like... So in 30 years' time, I'm going to be 78, right? See, I'm just being honest. You can be honest like that. Okay, so if you're in your 40s, you'll be in your 70s. If you're in your 30s, you'll be in your 60s. And those 20-year-olds amongst us, you'll still be young, okay? Right? So you thought about how old you're going to be? That was actually a serious question. You need to think about, okay, so you're going to be that old. If you have kids, most of you might. How old are your kids now? And then how old are they going to be in 30 years' time? Okay? So how old are your kids going to be? So Piri, she's 10 years old. She's going to be 40 years old. Okay? 40 years old. So if you've got 5-year-olds, they'll be 35. And that's pretty old, right? It's quite likely, now we can't sort of haratini te poropiti, but it's quite likely that then when they're 35 or 40 years old, they'll have their own kids, right? So how old would their own kids be? Maybe between 1 and 10? It's like 15? No. Okay. So in 2046, in 30 years' time, this is what your whānau is going to be like, okay? You're going to have mokopuna. Some of you might have great mokopuna, not great, but great grandkids, okay? So your children at the moment might be a little bit older. They might be 30 or 40, so they'll have the grandchildren. And so you'll have a 4-generation family. But some of you might just have 3 generations. But you're going to have mokopuna, most likely, okay? There's some things we can't determine in life, mostly, and we can't determine who our kids are going to marry generally and when they're going to have kids or where they're going to live. I understand that, but we're just going to plan anyway for the things that we can control, okay? So what I'm wanting you to do is to either write on your bit of paper or, Shane, there's some big bits of paper down there, and if you want to use a big bit of paper for yourself, draw some pictures, think about this. Here's the question. What will be the environment your mokopuna will grow up in, or your whānau will live in 30 years' time? Okay, now there's 4, actually I've thought of another one, 5 areas I want you to think about. Firstly, their fluency, right? Or their competency in Māori and English. Are they going to be bilingual, right? Will they be able to carry on the conversation? 2, learning paths. Will your mokopuna go to kohanga kura kaupapa wharikura, right? 3, whānau usage, okay? Will you use, how often will you use Māori? Okay? Number 4, your whānau reo network. Okay, now just a little comment on this. It doesn't matter how much you know about Māori and how fluent you are if you have no one to speak to, right? And this is one of the problems when we go and learn at university. It's like, yeah, I can learn, yeah. And you come out and you have no one to speak to and you start to lose it again. And so if you haven't developed a whānau reo network, and we might hear Ruakere talk about hapori, he hapori reo Māori, and your reo is not going to be developed. Reo comes within community, right? It's much easier to be in a community learning and speaking reo than just a few of you on your own. I was listening to there's a scripture in the Bible that says, iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And you need people around you to sharpen you, okay? So, whānau reo network, 30 years' time, who is it going to be? Because somebody's like, oh, we haven't got one. Okay, that's good. All right. The 4th one, I thought, location. Where might you live? It's like, yeah, I'm going to be living right where I am now, 30 years' time. That's cool. Some of you, no, we've been wanting for years to get back to our marae, back to our own people, to our papakainga, but just as a thought. Now, remember, a statement about 30 years' time, it's what I'll call the star to steer by, okay? It's far enough away that you don't have to worry about time. You can accomplish anything if you have enough time, all right? Anything. And some of us, sometimes we feel, oh, we could never do it. Our whānau will never change because, you're just looking at the last couple of years and we're not changing. But over 30 years, you can accomplish a lot if you can make the right decisions to make sure you go that way, okay? So that's why I call it a star to steer by. When you're on the voyaging canoe, you look at the star, you're never going to get to that star maybe, but it's going to keep you on the right track and you'll be a lot closer to where you want to get, okay? So I'm going to give you 3 or 4 minutes to write down those things. I'm just going to write down the areas that I want you to think about on this whiteboard. Okay, and I want you to write your thoughts, and then when you get to the place to write a statement, in 30 years' time, my whānau will be like this. Okay? Cool.